super fun. It's a little electronic wind instrument, or that EWI, electric wind instrument. That's super fun. It's actually connected to my iPad, where it has like all these other sounds, so I can like pick a bunch of stuff. It's wired in. See, I'm liking this song. What about this? Bangdy? Bongdy? I don't know what's happening with that. That sounds the same. It's still the Hue. Here we go. That was Hue. That was Hue there at the beginning. Flute, of course. This is I don't know how to pronounce Qudi. Qudi. I love this one. And it has a reed, so sorry if it looks a little bit gross. It has a reed there, so there's a separation, and you add the pressure, and that gives that. So I'm loosening it, tightening it up there. Sometimes this is gross. Let's see. So that little thing there is affected by the reed. The wind goes in through there. It's quite awesome, and it's high. Where the air, it's not right on this flat part because I'm blowing into it, so spit and condensation and all that. It's a little bit higher because actually, water will collect there, and so I got a flute. I don't know what key this is in. I like reverb though. Let me add a little reverb on this flute. A little too much. Does that loosen it? That's kind of cool. Let's restart that one. So anyway, I'll probably go ahead and get started with something that I need to work on. And then you just disconnect it and I don't know what I'm doing. And then of course it makes its own sounds too. I guess it's not wanting to because it thinks it's still plugged in. You guys have heard me play it. It has its own little speaker on it and stuff. You can probably hardly hear me. Hello. Poor Esther is not feeling well. She's downstairs. There's some weird, felt like some weird audio problems on some of the last ones. I've now also like wired the cameras indirectly, so there should be no issue there. I mean, of course there could still be, but then I would know it's clearly an issue with Wi-Fi connection if there's any lag now, because it's directly wired in. So it should be nice quality. It should be, I technically have it, yeah, it's a little annoying because I technically have it to where it can be like, like full HD, like really high quality. It looks okay. But I was never super feeling like I needed to have it like, super high quality. I wanted to look good and be able to last and watch it later and feel like it has enough quality to watch. But anyway, I'm gonna be painting, doing my actual project here. Work project, job. It's looking pretty good. About 2/3, maybe halfway done, like I said before. Now that the phone is wired in, just moving the lighting around here. I hope that the wires aren't going to get in the way. I just literally threw it on. I didn't try to these bad boys. I didn't try to make it to where it's going to be held perfectly in place yet. I'm going to go ahead and do it now. I see no reason why I wouldn't want this wired in. Oh, but I didn't have enough USB ports. I could move some of the other things, because the light's USB, a lot of things are USB, but I could move some of the other things to go directly out of the computer. Have an extender and an adapter and all that to have more USB ports. Anyway, let's go ahead and get started here. There's that cord I was talking about. There we go. There it is. Looks like I can make it a little bit brighter here. There you go. I don't know, maybe you can see it a little bit better. Maybe it looked better before. It's just because the shadow. Yeah, I got the shadow. Shadow gone. Yeah, it's at a good point here of the painting. A couple things left to do. Love these brushes, by the way. We've talked about them before. Princeton Neptune. Let me get the focus so it's not going to move on us. Alright, focus is locked there. So let's do a few things. I got a little bit of shading to do here. On his neck, I'm gonna push his eyes back in one more time, just like that. His brow, another very important part of the painting. One of those getting the ideas across for sure. Again, you're just slowly building up. So see that? Push the socket of the eyes back there. Get you a little bit closer to what I'm doing here. The ear. Getting good placement of the ear here is important. Let's see what we got. It's simple. The ear is usually darker than the face, so I can usually just add it in here. And I usually don't make it as dark as it actually is. Get the general shape first. I just dabbed off the brush. I didn't rinse it off. Again, you've heard me talk about that the last couple times. And see, then you just have an ear. Very simple. Her ear isn't in it too much. It's there, but it's covered by a lot of hair, so I think I'm going to leave it out altogether. And then I just have a couple things to do to like his hand a little bit. I might want to throw in a little bit of a third layer here. Define some of the knuckles, just little dots. See that? Boom, boom, boom. Done. Just get that idea across. Here's another one for her. Separation of that finger. Separation of this finger. A little bit darker on the inside of the hand here. A little bit of a line there. And I don't just want her whole elbow here is just one color. So I'm throwing in a little bit of shading down there. That time I did rinse the brush off. I'm just pushing a couple things, just moving them around. The only problem with using the phones as the cameras is I always want to be pulling up the... I need to just make sure I look before I start, telling you guys the photographers' names. So I mean, it's a huge part of what we do is we want to share their profiles and have you guys go follow them and stuff. Let's see. There's some parts of the dress that'll be kind of fun. Flowery stuff. I'm somewhat not done, but I'm somewhat where I kind of want to be with the dress. Oh, hey, what's up? Lost you guys. That's funny. It's probably pretty loud too. Here, I want to watch it on the stream when it happened. Fell out of its little tripod thing here. There we go. Oh look, it did definitely stay locked, the focusing. I can cancel that. There we go. If I double tap, then it will focus on whatever it deems fit. And then if I tap again, it'll stay locked. There we go. Sorry it fell. It's odd. Doesn't usually happen. Alright. Some dress. Little purpley. Little peachy. Got some tones in here. A little brown, you might even say. I don't like throwing the brown in there, but honestly, it's in there. There's definitely brown in there, but I just shy away from that a little bit. You can sometimes have a murky looking wedding dress, and that's definitely not what you'd want. Let's see what color. I got it so dark in the room to make the video look good. I can't see my palette very well. Yeah, it's a good tone. Peachy, purpley. These are the good wedding dress tones. And if it's too dark, I just give a little dab. One of the darker folds of the dress are over here on that side. Just touch into the edge of my color that I laid down. Get a nice blend. There's another fold up here, and it makes this edge make sense. So I'm going to actually emphasize it a little bit, that little piece. Yep. And there's a lot going on down here, and I'm probably going to simplify it. I'm not going to put everything that's going on down there. There's a large fold that kind of brings up into these pieces. I think I'm going to put that one in. Kind of just disappears. See what I'm talking about? The shadows though? Because now since I'm here, when the light was on the other side, it looked like this. See? So moving that light is a huge thing. Very important. So you guys can see what I'm doing. If it's too dark, add a little water, dab it a little bit, and there you go. It's another nice. So the flat this dress has some really cool. There it is. See all that? And see it's a little brown, a little green. Yeah, I try to get that out of there. And no, I'm not like calling out the color choices or the editing of the photographer at all. It's just some things transfer better as photo, and some things transfer better as painting. Got some cranberry, raspberry. Sparkling water. These songs are taking so long to load. It's just an online like thing that kind of plays through them. Royalty free stuff and all that, and it's, I don't know, it's the website's been like super slow loading the stuff, and it makes it for these long blank areas, which I don't like. Not that I'm awkward or anything, come on now. I don't like the music on. So anyway, those flower details, and again, I don't mean to simplify them, but they'll be scribbled in, you know. I mean, if you look at it, it's a random shape. It's a very organic shape. And a lot of times the best way to do something like that, especially in this size, remember we're working with 8.5 by 11 here, well, like 8 by 10. And we got to figure out the best way to transfer the ideas. Remember, I keep talking about like how something comes across, and sometimes with shapes in the dress. Watch, I'm just gonna kind of start going, and I'm trying to follow. They're flowery shapes. They're tight little circles here. Is basically what I'm going for. And if you just start kind of going, in some parts you want darker. You want to come back in with some dark. I want to lose this edge a little bit. This little edge of the dress here, of where it goes from like dress to these flower parts, got too hard. So I'm trying to like touch into them, soften them up. Of course, bringing in that dabbing again, super helps with the organic shape look. And now I just bounce around and get these little shapes all over. Transfer the idea, get the idea across. Again, of course, it always comes down to the style of painting that you're doing. But it's always about getting ideas across, right? I mean, how it transfers to the viewer. So if I was doing a super, photorealistic, I used to do much more realistic stuff. That was kind of my, that was my style, and I liked it. And I don't do it much at all anymore, but there's things that I would definitely still like about even it now. But different things transfer well in that style, and different things transfer well in this style. There's a lot of them over here too. Using my color on the palette here. There we go. It was my arm. My arm shaking the camera. I like how I have it set up for the stream, but there's definitely, there's some shaky things. There's definitely some things that could be different. But you know what? There's always things that could be different, Always things that could be different. I think something that's important is giving it a shot, going after it, having an idea. So I'm going to try to lose this edge. It's still just too much for me. The transfer from that line is just like straight, and I've had it in there since the beginning, since I started the dress, so it's just becoming difficult to lose it now. It's the edges of flowers is what this dark line here is supposed to be, and it just got kind of flat. I like this song. So sadly, I'm gonna kind of scrub in here a little bit, which isn't something I recommend for your brush or the paper. But I'm really kind of mad at that edge that I put in. So you gotta be really careful how much of that you do, if and when you're gonna do it, because it really damages the paper, and going in there with paper towel isn't very smart either, or your finger. Wow. Okay, I'm making a lot of bad choices here, but if you look close, and I think the focus is locked, let me get rid of that. Okay, if you look here close, and if I can move it to where there we go. The paper gets rougher there. Now this is cold pressed paper, so it already has a texture. You can see it has a tooth to it as I hold it at this angle. But look right where I started doing the scrubbing. I don't know if you can see it very well, but it's getting a little agitated there, and it becomes harder and harder the more you do that to then paint on top of that. So you got to be careful, but I just really wanted to redo that edge. I'm going to redo kind of that whole edge going up into there. And once I do that, I'll kind of like how the dress is where it's at. I won't feel like I need to do too much more to it if I can get that area looking the way I want. So that's why I was so specific about that. But I do need to leave it alone now, and I always have the issue of trying to go right back in and working on it. His shoes are brown, so I'm going to go do that real quick. Shoes fairly easy each time. A little brown, a little blue. I throw a little blue in there, makes it a little gray. I don't usually just use one color much for anything. Always a couple colors. Mix them together. Now the shoe, it's a little bit simplified, but you want to get the shine where the different little details are. I made this foot a little bit short. I'm going to bring that out a little bit. There we go. And they're a little reddish. I got a little bit of this in them. Let me bring this color in. You'll see what I'm talking about here in a second. There it is. That what is that, burgundy. Brush is really dry, so you're getting these crisp, rough brush looks, which I actually wasn't going for at the moment. So there's this little piece. There's actually a flower that was there, so I'm covering that. And then leave it to me. I put too much water on my brush, so now I'm getting too much. Let me come back in with a little dark here. The profile of the shoe and where that shine. So I was talking about the shine and then I totally lost it. You don't see the heel much on this shoe. I'm going to add it in there a little bit. You want to get that profile, very important. You can actually see his other shoe a little bit, so it's making this one look really thick. So once it dries, I might kind of is right there. There's the other shoe. Okay, I'm happy with that. So let me. Oh, it's looking a little bit fleshed out. I don't like that. That make it look a little bit better. There you go. Bring this down a little bit. There we are. So that's what I was supposed to touch with the back here. You don't want to touch with the front, with the fingertip here. Oils on the finger, right? Gets on the paper. You want to feel it like that. Finally cut my nails. They were getting so long, bothering me. I don't like cutting nails. I don't know. It's a task. Feels like it takes too much time. Tedious. Here I am painting all these little details on a painting, and I'm like, I don't like to cut my nails. It takes too long. Okay. So when I do this edge this time, I'm focusing more on the randomness. See what I'm doing here? I'm taking that edge into where these flowers are. And that I already like a lot better. So I'm just kind of mad how I did it the first time. But I fixed it. And I was able to lose that edge that I put there too much. Now I'm bringing that crease back in. It kind of creeps in here. There's some almost pillars of flowers that go up. There's like a piece here. There we go. Alright, I'm liking this. But see, it's a little rough there. And that's okay because this part of the dress is super textured. But I'm going to have a difficult time now blending this because of that roughening up of the paper that I did. It doesn't blend well after you do that and lay the color back down. The paper's agitated and it holds on to the paint, it grips it. Let's see, and now that I've darkened up that one though, I gotta bring in, it's always how it is, you work on one part of the painting and then everything else becomes dull. So I'm just going back through and finding little areas that I want to re-up the contrast to meet my new darkest area. It's very important. You bounce around the paper and you add things, and then the other things that you've worked on start to pale in comparison, potentially. Not necessarily, one part might be darker, right? So of course everything's different, but once I added that and made that area darker, some of my other parts where they should have been just as saturated or just as dark in value become light, and I have to go find those shapes and help meet them back up in terms of value or saturation. There's a bunch of little folds in the dress over here. A bunch of little mini ones. We're going to bring those in because I like them. Yeah. This spot over here was looking rather dull. It's like a big blank area. There's definitely a couple little swooshes over there. Yeah. Yep. Now, there's just as many flowers on some of these other segments of the dress here and you can't tell. And so I need to do this. I like this song too. I like that tone that comes in. Sorry, I just whistled into the microphone. I don't know how loud that was. There it is. Should have been too loud. There we go. Alright. I'm happy with that. I'm happy with that. So pretty close to done here. Suit's looking good. His tie, we simplify. Well, there's like a couple little. There's like a little piece of the tie here that sticks out. And I don't want to have completely lost it. It just kind of. It has like some white. It has like some speckles or something. Just gonna show that a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely happy with it. I need to finish up the hair. That's a big thing. Oh, his little mustache. Let me add that in. I don't want to say little like it's little. It's just that you can't see much of it. You know, I'm particular about that facial hair. Wouldn't want someone calling my beard small. No, it doesn't matter. But I do want to replicate whatever is here and not change it. Definitely change some things though. I can tell when a guy would really want his beard portrayed in the painting a certain way. Maybe a little fuller than it is. Maybe a little. I need to keep this simple though, because I can see it's specifically just a mustache here, and I've made it a little bit dark. Can't let it take over what's going on. But now it has become lighter than his skin. I definitely use the little paper towel dotting too much. I don't know, it's just something that I seem to use a lot. Gonna get a couple details on the ear here. You guys are a little far away right now. Let me see if I can bring you in. Okay. So on the ear here, we just have a couple little details that I want to bring in the top, corner of the ear a little bit. And don't let this, the ear is such an intriguing thing, and it is so detailed, but don't get in there and put every little nook and cranny, because boy, an ear could take over the whole painting if you throw all the little details and things. Just get there it is. Just get the idea there. Now the hair, Esther is the first layer of hair, and I always come back through and do the last little bits here. So let me see what's going on with this dude's hair. The dark part comes down in this on the side of his head here a little bit farther. The best thing you could do, especially with watercolor or gouache or anything like this, is put less. You can always add more. You can always add more later, but gosh, if you put too much, sometimes you get stuck. And you don't want that. And with this darker color, I can come through and blend it really easily later. So I've left this really hard edge that you can see, but I'm really not worried about it. Because when I'm using this darker color, whenever I want to come back in with a little bit of water, I can agitate that edge that I left just a little bit, and it's going to start moving. I can show you that here now. When it's dark like that, even if it started to dry some. And also with the hair, I talked about that agitating the paper down at the bottom, and how you want to be careful about that. With the hair, it kind of adds a little texture. It adds a little something. There's a song. See, it's been a second since there was a song, hadn't it? Maybe I'm just not listening to it, but it had been
a little bit of time. It was like loading it or something. It's so weird. It's a song. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. Come on now. Here we go. He's got this skull fade, so it goes down to nothing. I always try to maybe bring it down a little bit farther than it actually is. I'm not trying to change the guy's haircut. Just want to see that edge. There we go. His hair's pretty much done. There's a little highlight on the hair. Kind of like up on the top here. The sun's kind of hitting it. There we go. Just a little bit of something. Showing the dimension of his hair here. I got like no hair and I wish my hair looked like that, so kind of used to. I used to have kind of short on the side and long on top, and my hair's kind of falling out, so don't got that much no more. There's some details on the dress here that I haven't shown at all. In the back of the dress, there's flowers, which that's fine. I don't need to show too much of that, but there's a mesh see-through sheer. How many more words can I come up with to explain what I was trying to say? These edges have the little flowers and little textures, and I can just put a couple little dots, little things. Technically, this is part of her dress here, just past her arm. I've not done a good job at showing that. It gets lost there. That's fine. And if I'm ever saying like, it's fine, I'm doing these paintings for people, potentially they're watching and all that, and I'm not trying to say something I wouldn't say, but also when I'm saying, oh, it's fine, it's not like, oh, I don't want to put in more time to make it look better. Again, it has to do with what transfers well for a painting. If I go in and put a bunch of detail in an area that isn't a focal point, it's gonna take away and detract from where I'm trying to put people's attention. So just to be clear, I'm doing a painting for somebody and I'm like, nah, I can skip that part. No, it's never about that. It's about getting these ideas across. And the light is also hitting it kind of an odd way. Like, his face looks so blotchy, but if I just hold it more, if I get you a little farther away, and get the light not to be so from an angle. Anyway, yeah, his face is kind of coming through blotchy on the video a little bit. All right. Let me get his hand to separate from the dress. Yeah, I'm just literally outlining it there, just to pull it apart so you can see the two different planes there. Now, her hair, boy, blonde is hard. Let me tell you guys, a painting like this, blonde is hard to do. Blonde isn't yellow, you know what I mean? I know you know that, but blonde is like green and gray, and it's all these colors. And you see we have some green in there already, but it's like the blonde part is so hard to replicate. Yeah, I'm sure there's people that find it easy. But I don't know, whenever I'm working on this blonde, I just gotta mix very carefully, and it's more about the dark parts of the hair that make the blonde stand out. It's more about the blondes are usually these highlights. If someone's like platinum blonde in these paintings, it's difficult. It takes a lot of time to really get that color to look the way I'd want it to. So what I usually do is I come in. So Esther's done this first layer of hair, and actually sometimes I kind of go over. Well, clearly I'm going over what she did, but I sometimes, even again with these dark colors that she's put, I can agitate the edges of what she's put there. Like what I want to do, I want to do a study of like the blonde hair and do it in like, Photoshop, Procreate, whatever, and color pick and find how many colors are in this blonde hair. And there's a lot of color and lots of hair, but the blonde, especially if it's been like highlighted or dyed, is that what they call it? Hair dye? I don't know. Bleaching it or anything like that, adding highlights. There's a lot of colors going on. And purple, I don't know, I see a lot of purple in the blonde hair. Like skin tones, I see a lot of skin tones in there. And a lot of white too, like, there's a lot of white going on. She's definitely got some darker roots and edges, which is again what makes me feel like it's highlighted. It looks really nice. Her hair is really nice in the photo. So again, that's what I'm. And there's like orange. There's like some orange tones coming through. I like this one. Yeah, I like these tones that I'm getting here. This orange. Gotta sit up straight. Oh, he's hunched over, trying to look at this, what I'm painting, and with the microphone and the camera and all these pieces. Am I shaking the camera again? Dang. I have to reset how I have some of this set up. Let me get you in here closer. Okay, so I'm doing with the hair just lots of colors. Lots of colors going into this blonde. And the dark color that's been put there is just a little too blue, gray. The brown in her hair is reddish. It's that burgundy. It's that. So when I come back in and do those dark colors, I'm going to be using a redder brown. I'm gonna bring a little bit in right now to show you what I'm talking about. That's the color I'm looking for. And now I'm negative painting, right? I'm going around the blonde, finding the strands of hair and where they lay, and going around them. Now this I feel like is getting the blonde idea across a little bit better. And here up at the kind of tip of the hair here is where I'm seeing some of the little bit darker. She's also wearing like a little thing back here, which I'm going to add in later, like a little tiara thing holding her hair back. Well, tiara would be higher, but some sort of hair thing back here. So we've kept it too much, so I'm going to get rid of it here. Bring it back in later. And gold, it's a lot of gold in these blonde, in this blonde hair, and it's difficult. Have I mentioned it's difficult? And white. Highlights to the hair there. Sad Esther's not feeling well. It's always fun to hang out with her up here. She's here, she's just downstairs. Hope you feel better soon, love. She's pretty sick. She's gonna feel better soon. Got a lot of individual strands now, and I can actually go back later and like put kind of like washes over the strands and make them look more together. I do too many individual strands, and then when Esther does it, there's not enough, and that's why we love working on the hair together. We complement each other's styles. Sometimes I have to try to think of how she would paint it so that I can not do too many strands here. Yeah, I gotta simplify a couple areas. Let me just... But see, I can just do that. Come through the little water. And just kind of blend, and then it kind of just pushes it all down. See, look at that. See that? And it's coming through a little weird on the live stream. It's hard to replicate that paint, that style. Sometimes zooming out. I mean, now you're very far away, but there it is. All right, well, the painting's very close to done now. You know we do those cool backgrounds. It's a big part of the painting. His shoe here. I want to get that edge where kind of this plane, yeah, it kind of comes up. Push that other shoe back. You get the heel. Yeah, kind of like that, just to get some of that. Alright. There it is. Already on the 0.5 here, I can just flop this and then bring you all up. Oh, it's dark. My little hat. Took it off. It was getting kind of warm. Hats make me just boil. I don't know what. It's always so weird when there's no other lights, and that's kind of what it's doing to the painting too. See, like I'm very like kind of like saturated, and like that's kind of what it's doing to the painting. And I also have kind of this, you know, I can mess with these settings here. I can look at that. Now it's not too colorful. Got black and white kind of old feel going on. Got the lo-fi. I should add like an old TV, like crackly VHS effect. Put that back to 0. Alright, let me turn the light on. It's just more ambient light really fixes that. There it is. And I can kind of show you what I mean here. If you look at the painting, not super zoomed up, with just the one light on, you can see the blonde hair. The idea transfers a lot better. It's interesting, you know, you've seen those not always paintings, I say paintings a lot, but you've seen that artwork where it's like, you're close and you see one thing and it's far away something else. And they did a super funny one where it was like Marilyn Monroe and like Einstein. Have you guys seen that? I can pull that up. And it's when you look at it from far away, it's one of them, and, or if you like squint your eyes as well, you end up seeing both. It's like an optical illusion thing. It's just very intriguing. So did it get it? Okay, do I have to click this? Oh, did it lag out the whole stream? Oh no, did it crash? Oh. Okay, it's working out there. The program kind of crashed a little bit, but I can see the stream over there still going. Anyway, I'm supposed to. Oh, there we go. Oh, it's saying it's not a. It's trying to say it's not a JPEG for some reason. That's why it's getting messed up, but it definitely is. Oh, it's. Dang, you guys are gonna think like I don't know how to use computers at all. I swear to you that I do. It's saving it as a stupid kind of file. It's not downloading it as like a JPEG. It's trying to make it something else. Here, this should work. Alright, this one saves it as a PNG. Ah, there we go. So if you look for the details and get close, you see Einstein. If you squint your eyes, it's Marilyn Monroe. Anyway, I'm not sure why I thought of that, but I did. And yeah, so like look at it, get close to it. It's Einstein. And then squint your eyes or blur them if you can, get your eyes out of focus or squint them. And it's Marilyn Monroe. Now you know. That's definitely information you wanted to have, isn't it? So anyway, close down to this painting. We'll get this one shipped out pretty soon, and I will do the background. So it's great to hang out with you guys tonight, do a little bit of painting, finish this painting up, and we'll see you guys next time.